we had contacted other dispatch centers that had consolidated within the last 5 years, and one of the things that was really stressed with them is having someone who could serve as the project manager was an important component of success. Having someone that could go through and ensure that all of the equipment that was necessary was in place, that if we needed to move anything from one center to another, that we could easily do that there wouldn't be any constraints with different agencies having different infrastructure in place that would be a stumbling block. We were lucky enough, the facility here in Lakeview is owned by the BLM, and that is one of many reasons why this location was chosen. The facility over in Clemson Falls is a leased facility. So with this being BLM owned, we knew that we would have the possibility of receiving funding for different improvements that needed to be made. We were able to last year prepare a project proposal for a variety of improvements, not only to this building, but to the whole compound for the Fire Center, which includes our fleet shop, and then we have our Lakeview resource area that also has infrastructure on this compound as well. So we're building a new building that's for the resource area. Obviously, we replaced the siding, all the windows, that kind of stuff that had nothing to do with dispatch consolidation, but had to do with improving the building just kind of in general. So we put that project proposal together last year, and we were able to get funding from the BLM. It was fully funded by the BLM for all of the construction that's gone on.
This dispatch is somewhat unique in that it's a multi-agency, it's interagency. There is the Forest Service, the BLM, the Fish and Wildlife, the Oregon Department of Forestry, and the National Park Service up at Crater Lake. They're all dispatched from this one area. What that means to our firefighting capability is that it doesn't matter where the fire's at, we're going to take the closest force. It doesn't matter what color that truck is. It's going to be a quick response, so we should be able to be more effective in our response. That started years ago. This area here was what we call a service first area, where the BLM and the Forest Service got together with the Fish and Wildlife Service and the Park Service to become kind of blend the units a little bit. And in fire, it's working very well, especially at the ground level. There is things going on administratively that we have to deal with, but from a fire perspective, this has been real easy to blend this together. And then what it does is it crosses those lines, those arbitrary boundaries that we've set out there. So even with the ODF and all the federal resources, we can cover a lot better and more effectively.
We have an open house coming up. We want to invite all of our public to join us in celebrating this, get a good close look at what this facility can do and how it looks different. This building used to be the Lakeview District's BLM office. So, like Heather mentioned, the BLM owns this building. And the Fremont Wainema National Forest was just the Fremont Forest, and it was originally where the Fremont Inn is located. And before that was the Fremont School. So we've certainly tried to utilize the buildings that we've had here to benefit getting the job done.
Well, one of the big things is it's eliminated one boundary artificial boundary we had in there, that when you have two dispatch centers, there is an ownership on those pieces of ground, and sometimes that arbitrary boundary becomes a problem. And that problem is somewhat exasperated in the aviation world, because if you have a piece of aluminum flying around on one side that the other side doesn't know about, and they start flying around, there could be problems. And then crossing that boundary in two different dispatches takes a lot of coordination. One dispatch center provides us with the opportunity to take away a lot of those boundaries, so that when we have a fire or have an incident or whatever out there, we could just go grab whatever. And these folks in here will know where everything's at across about 9.8 million acres of property.
Like Joe mentioned, there's a lot more efficiencies that take place. We're no longer trying to dispatch over each other as far as centers are concerned, which is less confusing for not just our fire centers, but our firefighters as well. So I think it's going to be a great thing for our community.
If you see a fire, report it. And don't be afraid to come down and look at what we got here. We're more than proud to show it off. Well, we want people to know what we have down here. And this is going to be a very a good thing. We're going to have our glitches. We're going to have some problems throughout the summer, but I think we're going to be a lot more efficient, and we're going to provide safety for the public and our firefighters to a higher degree, because one center will know what's going on across the landscape.